Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Nisambulu Vinaka, good morning, namaste, and a very warm welcome to all of you. It is winter in Fiji, and that is why the Honorable Prime Minister has his blazer on. It's too cold for a Fijian this morning. We have concluded the traditional formalities last night, but may I again extend to you a very warm welcome, and thank you indeed for your presence this morning. And I am so overwhelmed by the presence of so many partners today. We have in the room very strong representation of Pacific stakeholders from the parties, the private sector, the civil society organizations, financing institutions, academic institutions, and our regional institutions. I did mention last night that in our NDCs we have our parties, but when it comes to climate change, we prefer to be referred to as stakeholders, because we all have equal responsibility in the implementation of the Paris Agreement. I would also like to acknowledge the various mission representatives and the international organizations. Your presence in this inaugural Climate Action Pacific Partnership bodes well for the climate action work that we have ahead of us. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as we are all aware, the Global Climate Action Agenda is a decision of the Conference of the Parties in 2015. This is in recognition of the important role that non-parties play in accelerating climate action in order to achieve the global target, to keep global action in order to achieve, to keep global temperature change to well below 2 degrees Celsius and pursue efforts to limit warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. I must admit the fact that COP21 in 2015 in Paris was my first COP. I was so excited about the results and the achievements that we had during COP21 in 2015. Congratulations and well done. However, 2 years down the line, as climate champion, I am concerned about the continuous emission rates. In 2016, we had, under the Marrakesh Partnership for Global Climate Action, put together the framework for the implementation of the decision of COP15. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as a Pacific Islander, I must say that we are concerned about the continuous rates of emissions that has brought a lot of negative impacts, particularly in as far as climate change is concerned. And it's not only the concern of every Pacific Islander, it must be the concern of every global citizen, because climate change affects all of us, and that is one of the reasons why we are here, to align to the Paris Agreement, and most importantly, in the climate agenda, it is about aligning to the Marrakesh Partnership for Global Climate Action. And the time for action is now. And of course, I look forward to your guidance. We look forward to your wisdom. We look forward to your assistance and support over the next 2 days so that we can have a successful conference. Once again, Bulu Vinaka, and welcome to Suva. Thank you, Excellencies.
The weather is a taller man, and I am not as tall. Our vision for what we must accomplish, I guarantee you, are on equal levels right now. It is often said that when we read the Bible, we falter sometimes when we come to the point where it says, God helps those who help themselves. Excellencies, Prime Minister of Fiji, Bainimarama, champion of our climate movement, I present you the Pacific Warriors on Climate Change, sitting before you today. And I assure you on our behalf that without doubt and more determination for having seen the withdrawal of a strong member of the Paris Agreement signers, that from today on there will be more vigor, more determination by this group to ensure that the withdrawal of Mr. Trump's intention to continue with us, those of us who signed on for the Paris Agreement, will be stronger, because God helps those who help themselves. And it's just the good Lord. As a member of my Congress, when I see a village group of people fixing their roads, I wanted to go back and give them a little bit more money. And in that context, the people that we depend on to look our way, to see our woes, to help us, to mitigate, to adapt, they will be interested in helping us when they see us helping ourselves. And I think that we must remember to be kind. To be kind to those, even those who we think today are not keeping up to the promise as signed on in New York after Paris. We must not forget the powerful effects of soft words, friendly words, that we must not shout at those we think are not helping us. On the other hand, we must continue, like the Prime Minister said, to work continuously, never giving up our hope that through the power of discussion, we will achieve something better than had we not gotten together to do something for ourselves. I would like to caution, however, that when two canoes are sailing a path to reach the shore, they must be vigilant ever so that their outriggers do not collide at night. That is a basic principle of sailors. Stay together a little bit apart. Stay together a little bit apart. In Paris, I had compared to the overflow of one man's activity into another man's land. And I used the breadfruit tree being planted by the people of Kiribati on his own property. Well, the breadfruit tree has grown strong, and its limbs have grown over the line and is now on Tuvalu's land. And the breadfruit trees are ripening and falling into Tuvalu. But Kiribati and Tuvalu have sat together and decided how we're going to mitigate this issue. One, Tuvalu will help Kiribati clean up his mess, which is on Tuvalu's land. Two, Tuvalu has to cut down the branch, that branch alone that leans over into the other man's land. Now, for many of you who don't have a breadfruit tree, you don't know what a breadfruit tree could do to public roads. So I assure you that in Paris, we were able to sit down with industrial nations to talk about the effect of their breadfruit tree on our grounds. And we agreed and we signed on in New York that we would work. And the development of the NDC, to me, is the most beautiful part of this agreement, because it forces no one. It sets no speed. It's the national governments that will set a speed. And I encourage all of us, our friends who are industrial countries, particularly Australia and New Zealand, to also speak with your colleagues in the larger industrial countries in the Southeast Asia and in America. We depend on you. We need your help. We know you are closer to them. More definitely, you're closer to Trump than I am. So we look to you for help. I would like at this point to go back to the main point, the reason why I'm here, and that is to thank the Prime Minister of Fiji, the government of Fiji, our champion, for putting together this forum to again reinvigorate our strength. because some of us may have become disillusioned, discouraged, disappointed that one member, a strong member who had committed so much resource to our formula of adaptation, has withdrawn from the pact. It is my hope, and I would like to ask you to hope with me, that we would prevail in our effort to garner the interest of the United States of America, to rejoin our group. And as I said in New York last month, Mr. Trump, if you do not want to help us, those in the Pacific, at least do it for the people of America. And that is the Pacific way. We cannot ask him anymore. I had stepped down to get this folder because there is a written message here, but then I've decided perhaps I've said enough. The good Lord knows how grateful we are, Prime Minister, and He will undoubtedly grace Fiji and your government with His blessing, and hopefully that in Bonn our canoes will arrive not separately but together as we approach the beach. I would like to remind all of us that when in danger swimming a reef, one does not stop moving forward until he reaches the sands, because there's a lot of undercurrent that returns him back to where he did not want to be. And so I again ask you for your determination, for your faith in our effort to be successful in Bonn, but first here in Fiji, to make sure that we go to Bonn with one word. Let's get together and let's help Prime Minister accomplish what he wants us to all accomplish. Thank you very much for all your attention. It has been my pleasure and honor to represent all of you, leaders of the Pacific, on this stage this morning. Thank you very much.